I'm Charles Drayson, and you join me for Legito in Real Life, a series of videos where you will see me start with a Legito trial, build an application, and deploy it for my colleagues to use in real life. Some of you will know me as Legito's Chief Community Officer, a role where I get to share my passion for all things related to document automation. But my principal role is Commercial Director for a software company called Innate. And right now, I'm in a unique position of being new enough to Legito that I don't know that much more about using the application than a typical new user. So we're going to use this opportunity as I get up to speed with using Legito to show you what it's like for a genuine new user experience. And of course, I'm going to deploy it for real. This is not a demo application. We have a range of training resources as you would expect. And this video is not really about how to use Legito, although we hope you will pick up some tips. It's more for people who want to get a feel for what it will be like to get going. We think this video is for people who are considering embarking on launching a solution like Legito within their organization, who maybe want to look ahead and answer questions like, is it for me? How long will it take? What sort of challenges will I face? What's the order in which I should do things? And in a sense, we're trying to bring together some of the resources in this video so you can see how your journey from complete novice to having launched a live application would feel. I'm hoping you're a member of a business operations team at your organization rather than a member of the IT team or a developer, because Legito has been built for subject matter experts within departments to build an automated solution that exploits their knowledge of the business. You don't need to be a programmer, a developer, or a professional IT person to get the most out of Legito. And that's a real key thing to understand about my role too. I am not a developer, I'm not a Legito consultant. My primary responsibility is to equip my colleagues, mostly at the sales team, to get contracts issued, negotiated, signed, and get our solutions live for our customers. So my goal has been to bring to Innate some of the automation to allow my colleagues to work more quickly with my expertise without necessarily having to wait for me, and effectively to leverage my contribution to the business by automating the skills that I have and the knowledge I have of what it takes to get the right contract for our customers. I say contracts, but don't think that Legito is just for automating contracts. It's for automating all manner of documents. And when I say automating documents, I think we also need to remember at this stage that creating a document is just one stage in the process. Legito is very much about putting a document in context and making it do work from beginning to end. So you'll see me using Legito to deploy a complete end-to-end process that happens to include contracts, but it could just as easily involve any other document orientated process in your business. If I get this right, I'm hoping to have colleagues in other departments at Innate asking me to use the application to help them with processes that they have. And I've already got, for example, our marketing director talking to me about wanting to automate the production of proposals for customers. But got to start somewhere. And the first thing I want to say is that I'm not going to build a hugely complex project from day one. I'm going to keep things simple. Because it needs to be manageable for this series of videos, but more importantly, it also needs to be manageable for the business. I want to start off with something that's straightforward to use for my colleagues without them needing any training, something that demonstrates the value of what we're doing, allows me to get some feedback on maybe things I could do better next time, and then I can build on the success to do more and more later on. And having thought about the various things that I could automate, I'm going to start with the thing which is most numerous in our business and also most readily adaptable to an automated process. And that is producing non-disclosure agreements. So I'm going to start by deploying a facility for my colleagues to handle non-disclosure agreements with little or no involvement from me. And I'm going to do that by starting with a Legito trial. I can do that free of charge in Legito, and the trial will include all the resources that I need to have a fully functional production environment. Okay, so let's request a trial. So I'm on the legito.com homepage. Okay, so the United Kingdom, which server, and now this will be relevant for those of you subject to GDPR. I'll go for the Germany server because that's in Europe and we are subject to GDPR. I won't request a demo, but of course you can do. And let's request a workspace. Okay, and you can see it's immediately available. And we're in. Now it's worth just making a couple of observations about this screen here. You can read for yourself that the idea is that you untick the sections that are not relevant to you, but how do you know what they are? So I'm actually going to start with this first one, the document automation section. It's likely that that's the first thing you're going to use. So when we talk about document automation, we mean the task of creating tailored documents from templates based on data which a user enters, and that's almost always the first thing that people do with Legito. Document lifecycle management, more commonly known as workflow, if you like. This is the tool set that allows you to move a document through your business, getting it approved, circulating it to people, generally giving the document life within a business process. Building custom applications, we'll look at this much later, but this is effectively where you customize the Legito workspace to suit a specific team, so that an HR team is using an application that looks like it's built for HR, real estate, get something that's suitable for real estate. We'll do that much later. Collaboration negotiation is more self-explanatory. That's the interaction features. Digital signing, that's also likely to be known to you by now. And measure and improve performance, this is effectively a reporting function, but I'm going to leave them all ticked for now. Okay, so when you first start, you arrive at what we call the onboarding session. I won't go through all of these. Pretty obviously, you start the tour, and it will give you an overview of what you have. Now, it's worth just saying this at this point. Oh, looks like we've got a message. Here we are. Really appreciate your interest in Legito. At this point, this is not a training. This is a familiarization. It's to give you a feel for what's there. So when you go through this tour, we can have a look at some of them. Don't expect to look at it and think, "Oh, right, I understand how everything works now." It's effectively you're surveying the landscape, and this is something which you best work through on your own. But it's like having a look around. It points out a few features. You get to see some of the naming conventions. You'll get a feel for what Legito does. You're working on the document editor here. It starts to give you some feel for some of the features, but like I said, you're not going to learn everything you need from this. At that point, I just want to mention one thing about getting to grips with a solution like Legito. It can be a bit like drinking from a fire hose if you try and learn everything all at once. We aim to give a complete full feature set so that you don't outgrow it. That's been a problem with some of the legacy solutions of the first generation. But of course, with a full feature set goes a full feature set to learn, and that can seem a bit daunting. So It's probably good enough for you now just to learn what there is, get a feel for what's out there, but not expect to do everything all at once. There are some trading tools which we'll have a look at in a while, but don't at this stage feel daunted if you see this stuff and don't immediately take it in, because that's not its purpose. So we've got a trial ready to start work. Come back in the next video and I'll give you a more detailed overview of the resources we have available for getting up to speed with the Legito, principally the training resources. And meanwhile, if you want to ask me any questions that have occurred to you during watching this video, I'll ask the production team to put my contact details up. There are no silly questions on this. Feel free to ask me whatever you like. It might be a technical question that I have to forward, or it might just be a question about, what it's like to do these things. You might be wondering about something I haven't mentioned. So just ask anything you like. We're here to help.